Kia ore i te whānau o Ngāti Koata, ko Waiau. Ko maingatapu te maunga, ko maitahi te awa, ko te aorere te moana, ko tainui te waka. Ko hoturo te tangata, ko whakatū te marae, ko kākati te whare tūpuna. Ko Antoinette Paul. I'm from Whakatūria o Kainga ki raro i te mātangi āwhio whio ki te rangi, which is Whakatū. I'm putting myself forward to sit on the board and represent the iwi of Ngāti Koata. My grandparents are Rangi Kapua and Rangi Ruhia Elkington. My mother and father are Joseph Paul and Pirihira Elkington. I have 9 other siblings and I have 3 children at the moment. Although I have extras and I'm sure that they'll tag me in and say, yep. Kia ora.
Why have you decided to accept a nomination for this year's Ngāti Koata Trust Board elections?
Why have I decided? I think I've put my name forward because there's such a big disconnect between the board and the iwi that we've forgotten, for me, who we're actually representing. And I've watched decisions that were made that have impacted on the iwi that have not been good, because there's been no discussion between the board and the iwi in terms of where we're going. I've been a critic, I've sat on the side and I've watched the board hoping that they will do right by the iwi and that they have the iwi's interests at heart, only to find out later on that they didn't. And we've been left wondering what the hell's going on. Why are these decisions being made that impact on us as a people? If I'm there at trust level, I'm there representing everyone, that is important. And what the iwi have to say is important, because without the iwi, we don't have a board. And I've watched the separation of the board and the iwi for far too long, that we've become disassociated, we've become unhappy, and we shouldn't be in this space, because our love for our iwi and the drive for the people is where we should be at, and we're not. So I'm just putting my whakaaro on how I would like to see us become better people.
What are the skills and experience you will bring to the board?
That's an interesting one, that one. Because for me, it's about my love for Koata. It's about how I was raised, how I think, how I behave in that space. I'd like to think that I bring with me honesty, integrity, that those hard questions will be asked. I'd like to think I bring accountability to the board back to the iwi, because without the iwi we have no board, and that our vision is always about the betterment of the iwi. I'm not here to serve me, I'm here to serve the people, and if I can do that in that space, that makes it better for our whānau, then I'm more than happy to take the hits. I'm more than happy to have those hard discussions, but I'm also happy to stand in front of my whānau iwi hapu and be held accountable for my actions. I've studied as midwifery, so I know the academic side, but for me it's not about academics, it's about people, how we treat people, how we behave, and to make sure that those relationships are maintained without losing sight of who we are as Koata. So that's my skill set. And to govern, which is to make sure that we serve our people first. And that's why I think that's my skill set. And I'm a good listener.
What do you believe are the biggest concerns facing our iwi today, and how do you think the board can best address these concerns?
I think for me it's a disconnect. We say we're koata, but what does koata look like? How does koata behave in this space? I think we have to go back to what I guess for me it was how I was raised with my grandparents and all those that were around, and it's respect. It's knowing who you are to be able to make decisions. If we don't know who we are, we make decisions based on what? I don't know. I know the answer for me, but I can't answer it for anyone else, actually. I think you've got to know who koata is, you've got to know the history, you've got to know all those people that helped make koata the way koata is, and have we honoured their vision in terms of how they saw us now. I remember when the Ngāti Koata Trust was first established, and my grandparents, their upline as I call them, were all the stalwarts of koata. And I think back to them and think, have I honoured them? Have I honoured what they could see in terms of the future for me and my children? And I think, to be honest, we haven't honoured them. I think we've forgotten them because we're now in the 21st century where it doesn't matter. Loyalty doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. And I think we've got to go back to those core values of acknowledging whānau, acknowledging who koata is and what koata represents.
If you are elected, what is something you would like to achieve personally as a trustee of Ngāti Koata Trust in your 3-year tenure?
If I'm elected, that I represent the people that voted for me, and that I always have them at the forefront of any decision that needs to be made, and that I remember why I'm there. I don't lose sight of why I'm there, and that I leave the board in a better space than when I first went into it, and that anything's possible and you don't need a qualification to make good sound judgments for the iwi. If you have a love for the iwi, then I think anyone should have the right to sit on the board, providing that they don't forget their why. My why is mā te iwi, mō te iwi, for the iwi, by the iwi. The drive has to come from the iwi. I'm just merely the person that makes sure that their voice is heard at that table, and we don't lose sight of where we want to go as Ngāti Koata. So I'd like to think that after 3 years, that's what I leave when I no longer sit at the table as a trustee. So yeah, that's my hope, is that those that have voted for me know that I haven't changed, that I'm still the same person that went on as I came on. I think my final thoughts for me as a iwi member of Ngāti Koata is that I go back to my statement that, you know, what is it that I bring to the board? And I'd like to think that I bring cohesiveness back to the board, between the board and the iwi. When things get tough, a sense of humour is an absolute must, because sometimes you just need that break. Different doesn't mean wrong. Look, we're allowed to have different ideas, but if it's going to benefit the iwi, then let's have that discussion. But so long as the iwi benefit, then I'm all for different. But so long as the end result is that our iwi flourish, our iwi are the ones that benefit from our discussions at board level. If we're going to do it, it's called integrity. Say what you mean and mean what you say. It might take us a wee while to get there, but at least we're going to be transparent with it. We're going to let you know where things are, I'd like to think that we can move things along a lot quicker, that there are 5-year plans, 3-year plans, things that we can get excited about, and that we can sit there and say in 3 years, this is what we've done. Not sit there and go, oh, it's a 20-year plan, it's a 30-year plan. We were there, the 20, 30-year plan when we first were established as a trust. We have the ability, we have the people, we have everything we need to be successful. We just don't have the board in terms of movement to make that happen. So for me, it's just about bringing the iwi's dreams, the iwi on board, and being the spokesperson for them, and making sure that we honour the ones that have gone, to the current ones, which is me, to my children, which is the future. So I think we can do it, but it's not hard. It just means we have to change the way we think and how we approach things.